Dedicate 30 to 45 minutes, 3 times a week, shoulder mobility drills and the handstand. It will help everything else. Your overhead position, your snatch, handstand obstacles. Nice, there it is, so much nicer. Press, yeah. Yeah, Ella, nice. If your wrists are feeling good, you can usually just start with palms down, side to side. Break this into 2 different movements. One where you're actively trying to keep your palm pressed into the ground and your elbows locked out. Then we shift into the second movement where we lift our palm off the ground, but you're pressing your knuckles into the ground. On the opposite, yeah, so lean into the shoulder, so you're getting the stretch. Yeah, super. Often when you're handstand training or you guys are doing a lot of grip, so your forearms, that can be super tight and pulling into your wrists. And this is a nice stretch all the way into your forearms of lifting your palm off the ground. Then we can take it palms forward. Keeping your arms locked out, we can also start to think about rounding and protracting through the shoulders. And first one, again, we're leaning into the shoulders while keeping our palms planted onto the ground. As you guys are doing this, pressing your pointing finger and your thumb, especially the most important fingers in your handstand. Third would be your middle finger. You want to be pulling your shoulders in and your weight drifting into your pointing finger and your thumb. Similar if you guys squat, press your big toe into the ground, press your toes into the ground because they have direct neurological feedback into your glutes. It's similar here with handstands. We want to be able to press your fingers into the ground, make that connection into the shoulders. Then we can start to press our knuckles into the ground, lifting our palms up, stretching into the forearms, taking it back, palms down, fingers facing back. Lean as far forward as you need so you can get your arms locked out and then gently sit back. As you sit back, you're going to compress your chest in, rounding the spine. I even like to do a little bit of exhale, like breathing to it, and you feel a nice stretch into your shoulders and your lats and your delts. Another one that I love, to smash out the forearms. Have you guys heard of the therapeutic technique called muscle flossing, where they will wrap a joint and you move your arm for about a minute and then release? We do a makeshift with our legs. So we're gonna go into a squat stance. You're gonna wrap your arms behind your legs and try to work them up. So when you sit down, you're smashing your forearms. And then from there, you're gonna do 20 to 30 quick open and close squeezes through your wrists. Super. Just really quick, you don't need to spend a lot of time here. You're gonna feel it get pretty intense. Sometimes if my wrists are feeling achy, this can be a nice release. Sometimes it can help reduce a little bit of pain as well, and it can help strengthen the smaller muscles and ligaments in your hands. And the last one for the wrist warm-up, touching it low to the ground, and you want to find the soft part on your wrist where your carpal bones are, and you're going to place it there. So you don't, if it's up onto your forearm, it doesn't do much. You need to find that soft spot. And I just take this other hand to keep the band in place. And then from there, it doesn't have to be super intense, but just to stretch out. And the band just helps create some posterior distraction, create a little bit of space through the wrists. Find that soft part, and then just use this hand to keep it in place, and then nice big stretch. Super. And then from there, you are rounding, protracting through that shoulder, and taking those lean forwards. If your wrists are feeling good, you probably won't feel much with this, but if you have really tight, sore wrists, this can sometimes feel really nice. Now let's get into the shoulder mobility. Start with your light kettlebell first. This one's called the 90-90 shoulder abduction. You want to be seated down where your hip bones are square, and it keeps your chest square. And especially you guys are all really strong, you have strong pecs. And so you don't want to compensate by rotating your torso. You want to build the shoulder stability to be able to extend and gain the active mobility through your shoulder. With the bottoms up, you're also building the stability muscles throughout your shoulder, and you're going back and forth, build and feel these muscles work. Extend the arm a little bit more. Super. See these muscles working. Very nice. Super. A little bit less rotation through the chest, nice and square. So just right here is working. Feel these muscles. Next one that I love is also really good for shoulder rehab, to build the stability with any shoulder injuries. I've had impact injuries and re-injured my shoulders, and these are staple in my training still to this day to keep my shoulder health. called the arm bar, similar to the Turkish getup, but we're isolating the scapula and the shoulder mobility, bottoms up, to also be building the stability throughout our shoulders. Same knee, same arms. This arm, get it out of the way. If it's here, this will help stabilize you, this arm. So we want to isolate and work this shoulder, so get this arm out of the way so it's not here as your stability. Then from here, this foot is your anchor. This can help rotate your hips. So then we can start to push, and then you drive your knee down to continue having some support at the bottom. From here, you're pressing up. If this feels good, you can start to extend this leg and thinking about getting this hip bone to the ground. If that feels good, then as long as you can keep your eyes at the kettlebell, you're trying to get your chest down to the ground. Then press back, work back through. Yeah. Very nice. See all of these smaller stability muscles kicking in and activating, building the mobility and the range of motion, but also the stability throughout your scapula. The key to really unlocking and controlling your handstand instead of just kicking up and hoping for the best. This is shoulder internal rotation. Show me shoulder internal rotation. Arms up overhead, shoulders rotating out. So you're sticking your elbows out. Super. Yes. So see what happens here. If you bend your arms slightly, you're using your bicep and your pecs. This is what a lot of especially strong CrossFit people do in their handstand walk, because it helps compensate for your shoulder mobility and you can rely on your bicep strength. But that fatigues you so fast. It's like if you do an overhead carry with your arm bent out and to the side, you're gassing all of your energy in that. If you have to go right into bar muscle up, you're fatigued. For handstand, to really control, we want to be able to get into the shoulder position into external rotation. So wrapping the shoulder blades forward. This, and then pressing out.
This, right?
Yes, yes. This is where we can engage the delts into even the pecs, but also engage the bigger muscles, your levator scapula, your rhomboids, and that's where we can stabilize our handstand and engage. But it is a lot of work to get into shoulder rotation and fully extended. This is really the key. And if you can build this in your handstand, it will translate to everything else. Going down to your knees, you're gonna think about that shoulder external rotation and compressing the chest in as we do a puppet dog pose. So you're gonna come down here, you're gonna wrap the shoulder blades, pull the ribs in and extend down. So I'm not just letting my shoulders go and dropping my chest down. Obviously we can go a lot further when we do that, but we're trying to wrap the shoulder blades, pull the ribs in, and then look towards the thumb and actually get a stretch through that position. Good. Really compress a little bit more as if you're trying to round the upper part of your back and stretch through your shoulders there. The setup can be a little bit cumbersome because obviously when you guys are trying to get your quick warm up in, you don't necessarily want to set this all up. Something else I've done is the runners. There's a bar on the bottom there, so if you can find some sort of just bar that you can grab onto, and then 2 ab mats, that can be a quicker setup. Ab mats underneath your shoulder blades, not underneath your lower back. If it's underneath your lower back, it's gonna be much easier. From here, you want your arms fully extended. So we don't need them close, but we don't want them out here where you're bending your arms and using your biceps again. Extend, get that full extension, and already right here, you're probably gonna feel a stretch. But then what you're gonna try to compress and lift your knees up. This also works your core compression as we're extending the shoulders fully. And you can just stay in the tight ball and just go up and down.
So just here?
Yeah, super. And right back in. Yeah, so strong. To get off the floor, you can lift one leg at a time and then kind of jump into position and not bring your hips down. Yeah, there you go, super. And then just go down as far as you feel safe and go right back up.
Oof, yeah.
Let me pull one mat out, then lift. There you go, that's the position. And then down, nice. And back through. Yes. These should be staple in your training for 3 to 6 months. Super.
My core is so.
So as you get comfortable with the single mat, then build to 2. As you get comfortable with the 2, you can even build to a 3rd. So you get that full extension and then compressing the core at the same time. The stretch that the setup might be a little bit easier is here with just a band and a kettlebell. And then put it on your shoulder blades and you extend, and you can let your shoulder blades open, but then practice that shoulder rotation, compressing the chest in, round, back in. Opening, but also thinking about opening the shoulder and then wrapping an external rotation. Super, yes. And compressing the chest in. Open, nice. Wrap, beautiful. Yeah, super nice range of motion here. You guys see this wrapping of her scapula as it wraps around. One more time, relax. So she's able to really wrap her scapula. See this? This is really nice range of motion. Really important for the handstand alignment, but also even when you get in planche work and stuff like that, also super important. I would say you can just pick one or the other. Probably the other one is good for you to do for a while. You could do like that for a month and then this for a month, back and forth. That would be really good. This next drill called the bazooka. This drill is like doing a bicep curl for your handstands. It's slowing down the movement. You're using one leg as leverage so you can build the shoulder strength and mobility for your handstand kick up. Because what's the handstand kick up? It's your shoulders going from the closed shoulder position to open shoulder position. So we're gonna slow that movement down. The setup for this, you're straddling the box and you wanna be able to take your hands about a hand distance away from the wall so you can lean forward over your shoulders, wrap your shoulders in that external rotation, lean forward, but do not rest your head on the wall. As soon as you rest your head on the wall, it takes weight off your delts, and that's what we need to focus and target. So out here, lean in, shoulders. You're compressing the ribs just like we already practiced. Look back, you're stepping on the edge. Not way back here, so your knee is blocked on the box, but way up here. Then you're leaning forward. Bottom position is important, so you're lifting, holding. If you can't get here, then you're just pulling your knee into your chest. Hold, 1, 2, slow extend. You're getting as high as you can, and you're trying to fight for that range of motion. So you're pulling your ribs in, pulling, compress, compress, compress. Maybe you float off the box, but I could really care less if you get your foot off the box. I want to see you getting to your end range and fighting to improve that. Hold, and then you're doing a slow negative. Push, compress your ribs in, press, press. So I'm not collapsing through my shoulders and sitting back here. I'm leaning in, getting to the bottom position. Hold, 1, 2, down. This should feel fucking hard. If it feels easy, you're doing it wrong. Bottom position, hold, 1, 2, lift all the way up. Get your legs straight, extend, or fight for it, fight, hold, 1, 2, and all the way back down to the bottom position. Compress your chest in, pull your knee in. Hold, 1, 2, release. And we are fighting to keep the shoulders over the center of the hand. Build the shoulder strength so that they're forward, but you also don't want to lean too far past to where your shoulders over your fingertips, which especially when you guys have strong shoulders, you're able to get into that position, but ideally you keep them more centered. If you spend too much time in the shoulders over the fingertips, it can start to get achy and put unnecessary pressure on the wrists, unless you're working into your planche, but you guys don't need that. When you guys are doing these drills, forget about almost all handstand holds back to the wall. You guys do not need any more practice being in the full extension. Do as much as you can belly to the wall, and then this is going to push you slightly forward over your shoulders and allow the leverage to actually get into the full extension. When I say press through your shoulders, I do not mean press through your shoulders and open your chest and fall into this banana, because there's the pressing through your shoulders, and a lot of people almost fall into this and your shoulders disengage. They actually rotate into internal rotation and you lose all control of your handstand. So when I say press through your shoulders, engage your shoulders, it's wrap your shoulders into external rotation. So you're getting your shoulders into this position, then we're pressing through, compressing the chest in, and keeping our weight over the center of our hand. So if you're standing here and if you fall back into your heels, you have to do a big step to catch yourself, or you have to do like a big knee bend to catch yourself. But if you lean a little bit far over into your fingertips, you can go quite a bit further over and catch yourself still by pressing into your toes. It's the same with a handstand. If you fall into the heel under balance, you lose all control of your handstand. If you can stay over the center of your hand or even slightly into your fingers, you maintain control. You stay in control of your handstand. Same with the shoulder position. So you do all things belly to the wall, about like 1 or 2 hand distance away. From here, first of all, get your hands underneath your shoulders, wrap your shoulders in internal rotation, compress the chest in, tuck in the pelvis. Then we're lifting 1 foot off the wall, but I do want you to maintain contact with the wall because you can use the wall as leverage to fight and press through your shoulders. What I don't want to see
is all of your weight here and your weight into the heel of your hand. You need to get it leaning forward and use the wall as leverage to open the shoulders and get into alignment. Foot light on the wall, but enough on the wall that we can press off the wall and open the shoulders, compressing the chest, open, press, fighting to improve and strengthen that range of motion. A little bit more external rotation, the other way. Yes, that is it, super. Lean, keep your eyes between your thumbs, making that contact. Yes, pull the ribs in. Beautiful, Ella, this is super nice. Compress, wrap, very, very nice.
When you say to open the elbows, I feel a lot.
Yes, that is exactly what you want. The muscles through your lats, your rhomboids, these are the bigger muscles in your back. Those are the ones that you want to engage and utilize for your handstand walks, for your handstand holds. When you can unlock those, that's when you get stability in your handstand. When you're stuck in internal rotation and you're reliant on your biceps and like all the stuff, that's when you're just kicking up and hoping for the best. Bring your hands closer, so we're challenging that range of motion. Super. Wrap, yes. Compress, fight, fight, fight. Beautiful.
I just feel like when I try to rotate, it unlocks my arm.
Unlocks?
Yeah, does it make sense?
Yeah.
When I try to like rotate, I feel like my arm is like starting to bend.
Yep, that's a range of motion, like a mobility. Your mobility is limited, so your arms are trying to compensate and get into that position.
So that's what also happens like with the dumbbells. It unlocks my arms.
So this is where this drill is super important for you. Even doing this without trying to balance, keeping your foot there to use it as leverage, and then fighting to get into that position. And when you feel your arms are kind of trying to cave and compensate, fight against that, and that's going to challenge that range of motion.
So pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually really good if you can get that rotation and you actually feel that, like that linking point that's missing.
I was feeling, but I was just, wait, like, why is my arm?
Yes, exactly. So when that unlocks, you'll be able to feel that lock in, and that should help literally all other range of motion. Head position, all of you guys are looking really, really good, but just to keep it in mind, when we're trying to hold our handstand, we want our head as neutral as possible because we can push through the shoulders. When your head drops back, your shoulders collapse, and that's when everything crumbles. So when we're trying to hold a handstand, we want to think looking through our eyebrows at that line between your thumbs, like you all just did really nicely. When we handstand walk, it is beneficial to get that looking just past your fingertips, so you get that help that forward momentum. But we never want to look, again, too far past because that drops your shoulders, drops your spine. It also dumps into your lower back, which can cause back pain, and then often your hips are dropping behind you as well. Start to get to the point where you guys start to feel comfortable balancing. Still warm up with this position because it is really good to use that wall as leverage to get that range of motion opening, because you guys have such strong lats. You need to fight for that mobility at the same time. So the next position that we're getting into is to actually start to feel that balance. Same position where we're in that small scissor and you're trying to lean into the shoulders, first align and then lean your weight into the fingertips and your shoulders, and then that alone should float your foot off the wall. So we're not kicking. You set your shoulders, set your legs tight, so you stay aligned, and then I'm just leaning my weight into my shoulders and into my fingertips to balance off the wall. I'm not trying to kick and get off the wall.
How's this finger?
Thumb and pointing finger.
Usually when I handstand I rotate a bit.
Yeah, when we handstand walk, I'd like to turn them out. It's less having to go over the wrist and you can shuttle a little bit faster. But for the handstand hold, we want to hold here. It's just like when you're standing, you want your feet forward. You don't stand like this. It's much more backward. Okay. So if I handstand walk, I turn out, but then if I want to stop, I stop and put my hands forward to re-stabilize, control my handstand. Tight line. Let this also stabilize your handstand. Your legs and glutes are also help stabilize your spine, so you want them engaged. Nice, Luka. Okay, last wall drill. Usually, especially men are better at this. We're getting into the handstand alignment, but then we're leaning forward and building the delt strength slightly forward. And so that closes the shoulders and you actually need a little less range of motion. So usually guys really, especially strong guys, really like this drill. For women, we want to focus on actually using the shoulders and not the hips as much. So when you get into this position, you want to focus on tucking the tailbone and locking in your core. So you're not, again, doing this movement through your hips.
You're gonna come a little bit further away from the wall. Set your shoulders, open, and I'm tucking my tailbone, pulling and locking it in. From here, I'm leaning forward over my shoulders, and then back. I'm not going collapsing through my shoulders and doing movements like this. It's small, isolated movements. Tucking the pelvis. I'm center over my hands, leaning forward, pressing out through my shoulders, and pulling back. The next thing that really happens is you guys want to collapse through the shoulders. You gotta stay pressing out even in this forward position and back. As you lean in, you want to think about your toes sliding forward. If it feels good, you can even think about your toes starting to float and then come back. But we're not trying to do a big hip kip and get off the wall. We're isolating the shoulders here. Push your hips towards the wall. More. Yes, that's it. Then lean in. Super, Ella. This is really nice. And then back. Very good. Nice, Luka. Compress. Back and then forward again. Just forward, lean in. Super. Engage. Wrap the shoulders, external rotation, press out. Yes. Good. Fight to keep the elbows locked in. Yes. And safely exit. Did you guys feel how the shoulders want to collapse as you lean forward? That's what we want to fight against. This will build accuracy in your handstand kick-up. To do the handstand kick-up, your shoulders need to lean forward, stabilize as you kick up, and hold. If they're collapsing, then you lose control of your handstand. That's really key of being able to first unlock the mobility and range of motion to get there, and then build the shoulder isolation strength to stabilize that position. When we do our handstand walk, it's nice to start standing and actually get that momentum into our handstand. But when we're trying to build the accuracy in our handstand hold, I really like to start down here, and I like my clients to start down here because that allows us to already set your shoulders in position, and then you just got to get your hips over your shoulders and then control. But if we're starting way back here, this is so much more momentum, and you have to try to stop that momentum in the air, reset your shoulders, and it's a lot going on in the handstand. There it is. Super. Press tall, align. Nice. Yeah. So you guys feel the shaking and the wobbling and like how it's so difficult to hold? That's the shoulder isolation that I'm talking about in the handstand that needs to build and improve. Of being able to wrap your shoulder, press tall, and isolate your shoulders in that position. Lean forward over your shoulders a little bit more. Yes, and then get your hips over your shoulders enough. Don't get kicked in the face. Here, there you go. Put that emphasis before you kick up of wrapping the shoulder blades, stabilizing, and setting your shoulders, and then all you gotta do is get your hips over your shoulders. Yeah. Amazing. This handstand position is going to feel harder when you first start training it. You guys can kick up and probably hold a handstand pretty well if you collapse your shoulders and dump into the lower back, but fight against it, build that stability so you can fully lock out and actually get stacked bone on bone in your handstand, and that's when you can really build the stability in your handstands. So we finish with a 60-second wall-facing handstand. As soon as you get close to the wall, I start the timer. Timer has started. Look between your thumbs. Bring your hand a little bit closer to each other. Good. No quads on the wall, nothing touching the wall but your toes. Super. You're 12 seconds down. Fight for that position. You're challenging that range of motion, pushing the endurance here. 20 seconds down. Good. Now breathe. Expand your belly, actually exhale so you're forced to learn how to breathe in and breathe in your handstands. Burns, but keep looking at your hands. 5 seconds, press out. Fight for the last and safely exit. Don't kick the person next to you. Yes. Yes. Nice, Luka. Thank you. Your alignment looks awesome. It's really nice.